That's
no,
Barry.
No problem, Joe.
That's very nice of him. Barry Rowlands there for us, the Labour group leader in Barnet. What do you think of that?
I just think, I wonder what Don Butler's reaction is to hear that. I mean, clearly there you have a local Labour leader who says for 2 years he's been trying to confront problems with anti-Semitism in the Labour Party, telling us that he's had Jewish Labour voters in tears on the doorstep. Now, he's clear the leadership was far too slow in dealing with this problem. Is he right?
I think, first of all, I'll just say thank you to Barry. I mean, I love him. It was great. And he's very straight and very honest, and he's doing an amazing job. He's 100% correct. I don't disagree with anything that he has said. The Labour Party took too long to act on the findings of the Chakrabarti report. We should have implemented all the findings as soon as the report was done. The report was done speedily, and it should have just been implemented, and we were just too slow. And but the new General Secretary has committed and made it her first priority to implement all of the recommendations, and she has already started. So I think in a few months' time, we can talk about the actions, the solid actions that Labour Party has taken. And we have moved, as Barry has said, we have moved forward quite determinately. We've moved forward on the issue. The other thing I want to say about Barry and Barnet is that the Labour Party have never held a majority in Barnet. So if we have a majority at the end of this, whenever the results come, if it comes at 5:30, then that would be incredible. And, in no small part to the work that Barry has done.
A couple of results I wanted to bring in, and then we can have some... Liam and Dawn will sadly be saying farewell soon. So a quick final word before you go on what we've heard so far.
Well, I'd like to come back to the whole anti-Semitism thing. I think it's quite wrong to tar the Labour Party with the anti-Semitism thing. The Labour Party identified what the problem was. As Don said, they had a report there. This was a failure of the leadership of the Labour Party. This is a stain on Jeremy Corbyn's leadership, that he didn't get a grip on this issue in his party. As for the wider issues, great results. Sutton's a good result for us, but right next door, Richmond, very poor result for us. We'll want to look and see what the lessons are there. For me, Laura sort of alluded to it earlier, the stunning result really in many ways is Derby, because we saw a 15% increase in the Conservative vote from last time. And this cannot be put down to simply a collapse of UKIP, because the Labour vote was down 5% in Derby. If I were a Labour activist, I would be asking exactly what the impact of Jeremy Corbyn's leadership is doing for the prospects of Labour outside London. And that would worry me enormously.
Dawn.
I find it interesting that whenever you have Tory politicians on, like half the time they're always talking about Jeremy Corbyn. I think that shows that they fear him more than anything, because I very rarely ever mention Theresa May. Can I just say that it wasn't a failing of the Labour leadership? No, Liam. What I said, and let me explain this to you because it's really quite important. What I said was the Conservative Party policies are institutionally racist.
Which I think is offensive.
And so it might be offensive, but it's also actually true.
No, it's not true.
So what in regards to anti-Semitism, Jeremy Corbyn ordered a report almost immediately, and then that report wasn't implemented. It's not a failure of the leadership, it's a failure of actually the General Secretary for not implementing that report. And we sent him plenty of letters to ask why it wasn't implemented. But it's been resolved now, and that's the main thing. In regards to today and the results, I think overall it's been a solid set of results for the Labour Party. I think it's consolidating the general election level of support that the Labour Party has shown. In the areas that we want to do better in, what we have to do is work harder. And there's one thing you know about the Labour Party is that we are very ambitious. We've got lots of foot soldiers, and we will be working hard to regain areas that, or maybe even get areas that we've never held before or gained.
Can I just ask, when you say, and you'll be very careful around these areas, when you say that Conservative policies are institutionally racist, what do you mean by that? How do you justify that?
Okay, so the Macpherson report, when it came out after the racist murder of Stephen Lawrence, identified...
Which was about the Metropolitan Police, wasn't it?
It was about the Metropolitan Police. And what they said was that Metropolitan Police was institutionally racist.
Right.
It didn't mean that all police officers were racist. It meant that there was a culture within the police force that discriminated against people of a certain race, i.e. black people. Now, what we've found in terms of the Conservative government is that their policies have had a disproportionate negative effect for black and Asian people. And we found that in various levels of their policies, such as the Windrush scandal, such as the closure of women's refuges, such as the imprisonment of black or Asian people. And so therefore those policies are institutionally racist.
Liam, I've got to give you a right to reply to that.
No, I think that is wrong. I think that a lot of people will find that an offensive interpretation of any data, even if we didn't dispute the data, which we would. And I think politicians have to be very careful about using the word racist in political terms, applying it to political parties or individuals. It's a very dangerous.
Or policies.
Yes, but it's a criticism of the Conservative Party. And I think we are a party that believes in opportunity. We're a party that believes in meritocracy, that we want to see people get ahead from whatever background. And I think to start to use this word is a very dangerous thing in politics.
The lack of understanding of the effects of certain policies means that we will never get to grips with it if you don't grasp it. And I know it's uncomfortable and I know it's difficult, but at the end of the day, Theresa May herself ordered an audit, a race disparity audit, which she talks about often. And that race disparity audit showed quite clearly that the policies are having a negative effect on black and Asian people.
A prime minister who orders, as one of the very first acts of her premiership, a race audit to see if there are disparities cannot be described as institutionally racist.
And what were the results of that audit?
They made uncomfortable reading.
Because and what were the uncomfortable readings?
There was uncomfortable reading in terms of outcomes across different ethnicities.
And what did it show?
If we didn't want to deal with those,
Liam,
we would not have done it. So I just find that what you say about the Conservative Party's policy being institutionally racist, deeply offensive. I think you're playing a very dangerous game.
What did the results show?
And I think you're very irresponsible to do it.
What did the results show?
They showed that we have disparities in educational outcomes, in employment outcomes for ethnic minorities in this country, which are things that we have to put right. We did that race audit because we wanted to find out what the truth was so that we could put it right. And therefore, this very casual use of terms like institutional racism is extremely dangerous.
It's not a casual use.
But on the point that a Prime Minister who would commission that couldn't be accused of being in any way racist. Is that a fair thing for you? Would you accept that? The fact that she commissioned that in the first place?
It's got nothing to do with the issue at all. It's got nothing to do with the issue.
So the outcome...
The Prime Minister commissioned it because she knew that there were burning injustices in society. Unfortunately, she's done nothing to extinguish any of those burning injustices. That's the problem.
Dawn, nice to have you with us. And Liam, nice to have you with us as well. Thank you both very much. I know you're going to be probably having a bit of breakfast. Yes, if you're lucky. Good.
We will make America great again.